sorry, flash up. Oh.
Hi, hello and welcome to Albion and the Community's Health Facebook Live event. This is our third one. Great to be back. My name's Sue Brown. I'm the Health Manager at Albion and the Community, and today we have with us our nutritionist, Mari Clark. Give us a wave, Mari. Thank you. And our Brighter Outlook Physical Activity Coordinator, Rosie Sadler. Hello, Rosie.
Hi.
And we're also delighted today to be joined by Lynn. Give us a wave, Lynn. Let us know you can hear me. Thank you. And Lynn has recently taken part in our Brighter Outlook programme, which is for people who have been or have had or are living with cancer. So we'll be talking to Lynn a bit more about that later, but welcome, Lynn. So today we're going to be concentrating on how we can support people living with a health condition, both through physical activity and nutrition. We've got several points to cover and we've got a couple of questions, but if you'd like to ask any questions, please just add them into the comments section, and if we can answer them, we will, and if we can't answer them today, we'll get back to you. So let's start off maybe with the physical activity, and Rosie, what on earth can we do to keep ourselves mentally and physically well at the moment if we are living with some sort of health condition?
Well, I think physical activity is one of the single best things that anybody can do for their health. And I think anybody can benefit from being more physically active. And they actually say that if physical activity could be a pill or a medication, it would be the most widely prescribed medication out there. And that, when I say physical activity, I'm not talking about spending hours in the gym or doing marathons. I mean, that is a form of exercise, obviously. But physical activity is any bodily movement that requires our muscles to expend energy. So, you know, things that we do in our day-to-day life, gardening, clean housework, some, and, you know, just walking, they all count as physical activity. So physical activity, there's lots and lots of research out there that shows how beneficial physical activity is for our health, and research has shown that those that are more active have a lower risk of developing chronic health conditions. So things like cardiovascular disease, stroke, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, obesity, dementia, some cancers. So yeah, that's just
growing evidence all the time, isn't there? Yeah,
I could go on. So yeah, so it's, I mean, in terms of lowering your risk of developing these conditions and preventing these conditions is, you know, really important. But it's also used as a kind of a way of managing long-term health conditions and and kind of helping people to have a better quality of life if you're living with a long-term health condition. So, you know, whether that just be helping to manage and reach a healthy weight, managing kind of high blood pressure, and just improving general strength and mobility and function, physical function, sleep. So, you know, it's really important kind of in terms of, you know, managing and helping people to cope with long-term health conditions. For example, osteoarthritis, really common health condition and can be really debilitating, and research has shown that if for kind of people who with osteoarthritis that take part in the physical activity program, can lower their pain and disability by up to 50%, which is amazing. So, you know, activity is used as a first line of treatment for things like osteoarthritis and high blood pressure and also depression, things like that. So yes, it's pretty important. And
I noticed we're not using the E word anymore. That's too scary, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, there's, you know, exercise, you know, is a form of physical activity, but it's not solely about exercise. It's about moving our body in a way that's right for us. So as I said, it might just be walking and around and doing things in your day-to-day life. And I mean, that's, you know, brings me quite nicely onto the fact that sitting is, you know, prolonged sitting for excessive periods of time can have a negative impact for all those things that I've just mentioned. So sitting at your desk, not sleeping, sorry, sitting at your desk. That we're all, you know, culprits of for sure. You know, sitting at the sofa, it's so important to break up that time that you're spent sat down, even if it's just kind of standing up, moving for, you know, every hour or so, can have, you know, it's a really good place to start to kind of improve your health.
What was that? What was that video that you were talking about the other day? The 23.5 hours.
Yeah, so there's a really good video by Dr. Mike Evans. It's called 23.5 hours, and he's talking about how kind of how important physical activity is in managing different health conditions. But you know, there are guidelines around aiming for 30 minutes of activity a day or 150 minutes of activity a week, and that includes kind of strength-based activities as well. So he talks about actually limiting your time that you might be spending kind of not doing activity to just 23.5 hours instead of the 24 hours that we have in our day. So yeah, when you think of it as a whole day like that, it doesn't seem like as much, does it?
I think sometimes people don't believe how much difference it can make to somebody's overall health doing such a small, what seems like really small amount, isn't it? And sometimes the difference is just fitting it into the day, but if you can, it's huge, isn't it, what you can achieve?
And actually those that are living with health conditions, or those that are not active, have the most to gain from building up their activity levels. So research shows that if for those that, you know, aren't active at the moment, if they were to increase their activity, they have more health benefit, they gain more kind of in a health way than those that are already active. So even just a small amount of change can make a huge amount of difference. So as I said, starting off just kind of getting up from kind of being sitting in long periods of time is a great way to start.
Great. That's very encouraging, I think.
So everyone get moving.
Yeah, everyone
stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah, 10 minutes, I'll have to move again. I've got a Fitbit that tells me when I need to start moving, which is really useful as well.
Yeah, that can be really
so
encouraging.
There's lots of information out there, isn't there? I mentioned that video, or you're talking about that video, which I was looking at the other day, and it really hits home about the impact of a little bit of movement. There's also obviously the stuff on the Albion and the Community's website. There's our Brighter Outlook stuff, and there's the local councils I know have done a huge amount in the last sort of like 3 months, and on their websites, links and videos and stuff. So, you know, if you want to make a gentle start, that's the place to start looking, isn't it? So I've just mentioned, thank you for that, Rosie, and I just mentioned before about Brighter Outlook, which Rosie manages, which is our physical activity program for people with and after cancer, and the lovely Lynn is here with us, and you've just been through that program, Lynn. So do you want to just give us a little introduction about you and what you've been, your sort of background?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with cancer last October in my breast. This was for the second time, and I was very stressed, so my physical level went right down, and I was sort of comfort eating and things like that, and I tried to go to the gym, but I just felt that I couldn't do it. So I was looking for something after the operation to improve my health, as well as my mental health, as well as my physical, so that I could actually get through this, because having it the second time was going to be the hardest, I think. You know, even though getting through cancer is hard, when you get it again, it's a different type of road that you go down.
Right. And who put you in touch with us? Was it one of your doctors or nurse?
No, it was actually the Macmillan Centre, Macmillan Horizon Centre. Yeah. They suggested that I contacted you, and I got contacted by Liz Mooney, who does my physical exercises, and from there I've really excelled in my health. I've lost 1.5 stone, and I'm still trying to lose weight, you know, and it's encouraged me to do more stuff physically as well.
Yeah, good. What other things are you doing now that you weren't doing before?
Because of the lockdown, it got very difficult, and my family decided they were going to do the 2.6 challenge, so I actually did a marathon walking. And now I've moved on to trying to do the couch to 5k,
right,
which I am struggling a little bit, but I'm getting there with the support, you know.
Have you got someone to go out and do that with?
Yeah, my daughter comes out with me, my grandson, and you know, they encourage me as much as possible to keep me going. you know. But if I hadn't had the classes with Brighter Outlook, I don't think I would have got to this stage, to be honest. I found that they were very supportive. You know, it's fun. You do as much as you can, or as you know, you do it in as much as you can do. You know, you either push yourself, or you just, you know, step back a bit if you find it too hard. You know, and you're encouraged to do that. It's not like going to the gym. You just got to keep going and keep going and keep going. This way you do it at your levels, you know. And I started off with a sitting down session, and then I moved up to the exercises on a Monday, which are more physical.
Which gets you really going.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Actually, starting with the seated exercise is a really good way to, and you know, to start that process, isn't it? So where was your confidence at when after you had your operation? Did you feel like you needed somebody to sort of hold your hand and get you moving again?
Yeah, my confidence level had really gone downhill. I mean, it had gone downhill before then because of, you know, the prognosis, and I started getting really low. I spent a month recuperating with my daughter, and then I had to come home, and then obviously we had the lockdown and all that. So my confidence in doing anything was very bad, and doing this sort of thing has really helped, you know.
Yeah, so the thought of going in with a lot of lycra clad lovelies didn't appeal then?
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
no. I mean, obviously all the gyms are closed down, and I wasn't fit enough to actually go to a gym until, you know, probably a couple of months after. I had to get up and go walking, but, you know, I found that very difficult.
Yeah.
Because of the type of operation I had.
Yeah.
But
to explain,
I think.
Go on.
Sorry.
No, sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
Yeah, but I think with the opportunity with Brighter Outlook, I was able to take it one step at a time, and the encouragement that you get, you know, really sort of boosted me up to keep going.
That's great. So I was just going to say, we just had a question asking when we're expecting the Brighter Outlook classes to resume, and the answer is they haven't stopped. They've just been done in a different way. So I think, Lynn, you came in at a point where probably at the start of the pandemic situation where we couldn't deliver it, because normally we're down at the Horizon Centre or the Yellow Wave Centre and delivering classes there, but we weren't able to obviously do that for the last few weeks. So the coaches have been doing that remotely through Zoom, same as we're doing. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Is that the stage that you came in at?
Yes, I never went to any of the actual classes. I went straight into the Zoom classes.
Yeah.
Which was very strange to start off with.
Yeah.
But
learning curve for us all.
Yeah. Liz has been amazing, isn't she? So Rosie, I don't know if you just want to say about the referral process, and you know that people, obviously we're still taking referrals at the moment, aren't we? And
so as Sue just said, so since obviously a lot had to change at the beginning of lockdown, kind of shifting everything online, but obviously we're still committed to supporting anybody to keep active during this time, and kind of throughout and beyond treatments, and even before treatments, to help improve, you know, health and confidence, as Lynn said. So if, you know, we're still accepting referrals, and you can refer on our website, and there's also information there with email and phone number if you want to do it that way. And in terms of face-to-face delivery, obviously we are kind of excited to get back to delivering our classes like we were as well at the Horizon Centre and at Yellow Wave. We hopefully will continue some of the Zoom sessions kind of moving forward as well, because they've been really popular and suit a lot of people. But in terms of when, we don't know. We're not sure, but we're going to kind of continue to follow guidance from the government, but also from our local like the NHS around cancer services, and listen to our you know, the people that are already taking part, to check that they're happy to go back to face-to-face delivery as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Rosie. So Lynn, that is so lovely to hear and just to see you and hear about, you know, the difference that's made to you. What else have you been, do you want to share anything else that you've been doing during lockdown to keep yourself healthy and well? You mentioned about the couch to 5K. That's quite cute.
Amazing.
Yeah, and doing the 2.6 challenge was brilliant. I mean, we raised a lot of money for a hospice that's close to one of our family's members, and it was just enjoyable because we all did it together, and the encouragement that we gave each other, you know. But that is as far as I've got now. I'm trying to, as I say, do the 5K, and hopefully I might do the Santa run at Christmas if they do it.
Oh, right. Well, Rosie is local ambassador for 5K Your Way, and they do a park run usually at Hove Park.
Okay.
So you have to come along doing that when it comes.
Once everybody gets back to normal, you know, if there is such a thing, then I'd love
definitely
to join that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lynn.
You're welcome.
I think we obviously got Mari here as our nutritionist, and we did ask you had a question for Mari that you wanted to ask. Do you want fire away?
I just wanted to know what the best foods are to help to improve the immune system, because obviously when you have cancer, your immune system really goes right down. So I wondered if there was any types of food that you would recommend to help boost the immune system back up.
Okay, so well, obviously when you're in recovery from cancer, or for all of us currently now living in these strange times, it's really important that we keep our immune system strong. And although there's no kind of particular food that can cure or prevent the COVID-19 that we're under now, there's lots of things that we can do. And same with when you're recovering from cancer. So really the best way to boost our immune system is to eat a varied and balanced diet. So we want to be eating our 5 a day or more if you can, foods that are high in fiber, foods that are low in saturated fat, maybe be looking at getting the good fats in instead, foods that are low in salt, low in sugar, keeping our weight steady, as well as looking at our red meat consumption and consumption of our processed foods and processed meats. So basically what I'm saying is follow the Eat Well guide and the guidance that is giving you. I mean, we hear a lot about superfoods. I'm sure you've heard about them as well. So whether it's blueberries or goji berries or chia seeds, or I think this week it was shiitake mushrooms. And I'm not saying that these aren't good foods. I mean, they're very good and they're very full of nutrients, but so is cabbage and broccoli. So there isn't like a magic bullet one thing that we can eat that will make a difference. I mean, it's a variety of foods and getting all the vitamins and minerals that we need from those real foods. That's the thing that's going to boost our immune systems the most. Now, there's lots of supplements out there as well, like really super high doses of supplements, but they're not really recommended. So we shouldn't be taking any supplements, over-the-counter supplements, unless our doctor is prescribing them to us, saying that we're low on that particular vitamin, or if like we've had an operation and that's stopping us absorbing certain vitamins. So those are the only times when we should be having vitamins. But of course, there's always an exception to the rule, and that's vitamin D, because we are now in lockdown, and especially if you're shielding yourself, we're not getting outside as much as we normally would. And vitamin D, which is really important for our bone health, is something that we get from sunlight, so it's synthesized on our skin. So vitamin D is recommended. Actually, when the lockdown started, Public Health England said that we should all be taking a vitamin D supplement. But there are things that you can do to kind of protect your immune system, and this might be something that most people don't think about. It is kind of the don'ts. So to do with cooking. So when you're cooking, protect yourself from food poisoning bacteria. So make sure that all the food is really thoroughly cooked, well defrosted, as well as reheated. Make sure that you simply like wash your fruits and vegetables. Make sure all the grit and the soil is off them before you eat them. avoid things like raw milk or all those stinky blue cheeses. I don't know who wants to eat them anyway, but you know, any of that kind of food that could cause you complications, you know, food poisoning when if your immune system is down already, you don't want to be toying with things like that. But basically, eat well, guide, my darling.
Thank you.
Okay, does that help, Lynn?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I have been trying to sort of eat fresh food and all that, but you know, when you live on your own, it's not so easy to stick to it. You know, I don't cook that often, but I am trying to get better as the days go on, and you know, doing more.
Isn't it that we all?
Yeah,
I think I
hadn't thought about blue cheese and washing your veg and everything, but yeah, absolutely.
No, it's very important. One of the best things you can do to protect your immune system. But also, like, have things prepared in your fridge. You know, like if you buy some fruit, chop it up into, you know, chop it up straight away, and then it's there, right? And it's more exciting than eating the whole fruit if it's chopped.
Yeah.
Pick a mix.
Yeah, preparation is the key.
Yeah, freeze some grapes. I mean, this is like the best tip ever. They're delicious.
Jelly on them first, and then jelly powder on them first, and then sugar-free ones, obviously. I don't know if you can see these comments in. We're getting some lovely comments through from some of your family members.
No.
Charlie, the running grandson. Is that
all right?
Is he the one that's had you on the couch to 5K?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. And your daughter Victoria is joining in as well and saying that you know how much of a boost it's given you. And I'm going to start crying, but it says, "Thank you, keep going, Mum. You're a star." There you go. Well done. So, Mari, what were you?
She's my biggest supporter.
That's nice. That's good. So, I know, Mari, you had some great ideas about, obviously, with people shielding or, you know, and staying in, and maybe you're having to rely on other people to do the shopping, you know, and what are we in now, week 10, 11, it, you know, could get a bit boring, maybe. You know, I know you said, didn't you, Rosie, even you're quite a cook, but you were saying you're getting a bit fed up with the same thing. So I think Mari's got some great ideas about how to healthily add some sort of bit of a zing to our cooking and make things a bit more exciting. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're stuck indoors, you know, we get bored. I get so bored, and then we kind of stop thinking about what we're eating, you know, eating less mindfully, and that could be that we're eating too much or eating too little. And if you don't eat much, for example, you kind of lose your appetite and just lose your interest. And of course, it's really important to eat healthy. And of course, I would say this as a nutritionist, it is so important to eat healthy so that we get a variety of vitamins and minerals and nutrients and fiber and all those things that we need for our bodies to function. But also, if we are eating variety, we're also going to be getting different textures and tastes, and that's the sort of thing that can reignite our love of food, which we kind of need to be eating well. So if we think about things like if we think about taste, like, don't just kill the dish with tons of salt. I mean, salt's not very great for our taste buds either, you know, and it's been linked to cancers and things. So salt's, you know, lay off the salt and think about other flavors, you know, think about layering. So like if you're doing roasted vegetables, I mean, you could have, you know, add some, like a squeeze of lemon or some squeeze of orange, you know, just to add a bit of dimension, bit of vinegar to add a bit of acidity, like some lovely fresh herbs to zing things up, and then maybe even honey or maple syrup just to like make a real sort of layered effect of the taste. So there's not just the
Lynn's licking her lips already, look.
Yeah, so that can be really exciting. But then if your taste buds aren't doing so great because of an illness or medication or anything like that, then think about textures. So that can be really exciting as well. So, and you know, and I love this. Think about apple crumble with custard. You've got the crumbly, you know, the crunchy bit of the crumble. You've got the sort of slight grainy, soft texture of the apple, and then you've got this lovely cool custard, or warm. You know, it depends on how you like it, but I like it cool. So cool custard, this lovely smooth cool custard. So that's going to create a sensation in your mouth, even, you know, and make things more exciting. Now, of course, smell. No, that's a very important part of our appetite. And if for any reason you're not, you know, if your smell has gone due to medication or whatever. Now, this is really exciting because I've only just learned this myself. There's this thing called the trigeminal nerve, which is basically these nerves that are involved or in charge of the sensations on our face and in our mouth. And there's foods that can stimulate that nerve. So think about foods that kind of make you go, you know, like nostrils flare and ice water. So we're talking wasabi or horseradish or pepper, cinnamon, mint, all these things that kind of you feel on your face if your taste and smell aren't that great at the moment. And now all these things that I've talked about, they're great, but of course if you're suffering from dry or sore mouth, then that's not going to work for you. Like horseradish is not recommended in that occasion. But what you can still remember is that you can still have different textures. So you can have, you know, like lovely flaky fish with some soft cubes of vegetables in a clear broth. So you're still making it exciting because you've got different textures. So it's not just one texture of smoothness. So all these different tastes and textures that can make food so exciting. But there's also things to think about, like size and frequency. So instead of, you know, especially if you lost your appetite or lost your love of food, you know, don't beat yourself too much if you're just can't get through this ginormous lunch or dinner. Think about having small meals. So think about having like 5 small meals a day rather than the big three meals, and think about desserts. You know, that's a great way to add excitement to your life.
Always
you know,
thinking about
calories.
desserts,
Sorry,
I'm always thinking about desserts. That's the problem.
I know. Also, think about what you're drinking. So if you're drinking pints and pints of water or squash or lots of milky coffees just before you'll sit down to eat, you're not going to have much appetite. So maybe think about drinking less whilst you're eating and just before, and drink afterwards. I mean, of course, hydration is really important, and we should aim to get that 6 to 8 cups of water or low sugar drinks every day. And if you're really struggling to eat and just can't muster the amount, then there are some supplements. Talk to your doctor or a pharmacist. There's some sort of built-in drinks and supplements that you can have that can help. And then we talked about if someone else is buying your food for you, you might not be, you know, they might have to carry the food for a long way for you for your shopping, or they might not be able to get the dragon fruit and, I don't know, ground whole turnips or whatever that you might want to add a bit of zing. But then think about the foods that you normally eat. So if you normally have baked beans, you know, you could ask for a tin of different types of beans, or even with soups, there's lots of different types of soups that you can have. So don't always have the same thing. You know, if you always have white rice, have brown rice, or if you always have brown rice, have white rice. Just try to liven things up, make the food look attractive. You know, look into your stock cupboard. What have you got already? What can you make? You know, even if you have that tinned soup and oat cakes and cheese, you know, why not crumble the oat cakes on top of the soup and grate some cheese? Then that's already creating different types of flavors and making the food a bit different to, you know, to eat. If you've got some mint sauce and some tinned sweet corn or frozen peas, you know, how about you mix the mint sauce with the vegetables? That makes, you know, turns it into a really nice little side dish. Yeah,
My belly's rumbling now.
I know. I mean,
this now because I need some lunch.
have a look through your stock cupboard, see what you've got.
We tend to ignore, I mean, I don't know about you, but the number of spices that I've got in my cupboard, and do I use them? You know, I use the same old ones over and over. It'd be great just to drag something. They probably have to buy new supplies, it'll be dried up, but
yeah,
they try some different things and you know, just change it around a bit and just different.
Definitely. I mean, spices do go out of date, so I mean, there's maybe a little challenge here. Have a look what's in your spice cupboard and let us know what's the oldest spice that you've got. Because then, you know, once they're out of date, they just start tasting like sawdust. But you know, spices are great. Some, you know, omelets are great. You know, how about you roast some sweet potato and put some cinnamon on top of it and put that into an omelet? It sounds like it shouldn't work, but it is.
I can feel a whole different session, a Zoom session coming on here, can't you? Facebook session. You can send us all stuff to taste, Mari, and we can just give our reactions. Everyone up for that? Yeah. That's really, really helpful. Thank you. We've just got a couple of questions come in. One, I think, probably for you, Rosie, about what do we think that is better for getting back into into activity? Short, higher intensity workouts, or longer, more moderate and paced activity? What would be your recommendation?
Oh, that's a good question. If you're living with a long-term health condition and haven't been active for a while, or just looking to get back into activity after a while, I'd actually say the best thing to do would be to start with shorter bouts of activity at a moderate pace. So combination of the two. So start small at a moderate pace. So that's kind of working at a level that's getting your heart rate above normal, getting your breathing rate above normal, but you can still talk. So that's kind of how you know if it's a moderate moderate level. So if you've not been active for a while, that might just be 10-minute bouts. So depending on your current level of fitness, kind of work, start somewhere that's right for you.
How long are the videos that you and Liz and Roz have done that are on our website? They're about 10 minutes. Are they?
Some are 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Really good. Yes, there's some YouTube videos which are good place to start in terms of active exercises and things that you can do at home to build strength and fitness. But also, walking counts. So if you're just going out for a walk, it might just be starting off with 10 minutes and then building up. I'd recommend first of all building up kind of the amount of times you do it during the week. So if you start off with like 1 or 2 times a week that you're doing a kind of set activity, build up to like 3 or 4 days a week, and then you can start kind of building up the amount of time that you spend doing it. So if you started off with 10 minutes, then add in build it up 1 minute at a time even. So it's kind of starting small and building it up, and then once you have kind of been active for a while, and you've built up the kind of duration and frequency, you can start adding in a bit more kind of intensity to it. So working at a higher intensity where your heart rate is going above even kind of more than moderate levels, so you might not be able to hold a conversation at this point. But take it easy, and actually high intensity workouts are really effective. They work really well with like intervals, so you can do 30 seconds of kind of more high intensity work, and then 30 seconds rest. And everyone's high intensity is going to be different to someone else's.
So if you were going to start, if you hadn't done anything like that, obviously, and you wanted to get, we all see these high intensity workouts, that looks really good, that's where I want to be. Would you say you need to check that out with the doctor first? Would you normally do that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of gentle, moderate activity, walking and things like that is generally safe. If you do have any concerns, if you do have any health conditions that you're worried about, do check with your GP. I mean, most of all, they will say, that you can start building up your activity. But I would say, if you haven't exercised in a while and you haven't, and you do have a health condition, start off slow, gradually build up, not go straight into the high intensity workout. But that's not to say there isn't a place, as I said, if you are active already and want to want to build up some more higher intensity, it can be quite effective if you're short on time, if time's a big barrier for you, and it can be effective for like heart health and weight management. So but I'd say if you've got a health condition and starting off, start gradually, start off small.
Take it easy on yourself. Okay, thank you. And then question really for both of you, I think, around physical activity and nutrition. Sarah in Shoreham, I think, has saying, I've been feeling really exhausted and lacking in energy. What can I do to feel more energized? Now, I don't know whether that's the result of a condition or just generally, it's that time of year, or it's time of pandemic or whatever, but what would you say can help lift people's energy levels and make them feel a bit better?
Should I go first? I think, well, obviously if it's something new feeling of fatigue and lack of energy that's ongoing, do check with your GP. But generally physical activity and kind of movement is a really good kind of treatment for fatigue. So whether or not it's just general fatigue, which I think a lot of us do have maybe been feeling more than usual at the moment, or if it's something that's related to a health condition, whether it be kind of cancer related fatigue from treatments or chronic fatigue syndrome, the principles are actually all quite, they're all the same. So
similar,
I mean, and physical activity and kind of moving, it seems quite counterintuitive if you're feeling lethargic and lack of energy. it seems like the last thing you want to do is get up and go for a walk or something, or move, but it really does have it releases kind of endorphins and that immediate benefit that you get from walking.
It's one of those things you have to try it to believe it, don't you?
Yeah. I think we've
would you say that, Lynn? Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. And the struggle is actually getting yourself up and out and doing it. That is, if you can get over that struggle, then you do actually realise how much it helps, even just going for a walk around the block. If you feel tired, sometimes it's more a mental thing than it is actually a physical thing. And if you can get out, into the fresh air and just maybe walk for 5-10 minutes, even that helps.
I think we can all all kind of think about a time when we felt that that I just don't want to go out, but then when you do, you just feel so much better. Any movement, any activity is you're going to feel better and more energized. And it's actually a bit of a cycle. The more if you are kind of feeling fatigued and you are kind of, that is leading you to kind of do less activity and not do anything, and maybe even kind of rest in bed or sleep for long periods of time, that leads to kind of deconditioning. So our bodies aren't able to kind of function as effectively, and our muscles become deconditioned, which, because then we can't work as effectively, we're more likely to become more fatigued, which then leads to more bed rest. So it's a bit of a vicious cycle. So we really need to kind of break that cycle and just, as you say, Lynn, just get out there, even if it's just a walk around the block or just stepping out, walking up and down the street, even just to kind of move and freshen yourself up. It really does help. And would recommend.
For those people that can't go around the block at the moment, say just going back to because so many people are having to stay at home, but there are some also some chair-based exercises that we've got on our website, which we'll put the links in afterwards, some of those, and people could maybe start with that, and it is movement, so it sort of counts, doesn't it? Make you feel a bit better, get that blood circulating. So Mari, what about from a sorry, Rosie, did you want to add something else?
I was just going to say something else that I think is really important for anybody that is experiencing like fatigue. It is easy for when you have good days and bad days, but when you're having a good day, it's easy to go, oh yes, I feel amazing, let's go and do this, or let's do this that I haven't been able to do. But you have to think of your energy almost like in a piggy bank, and what's using up lots of energy. Try not to do everything all at once, so kind of spread it out so that you're not getting those peaks and troughs and of energy. And actually, if you spread it out and build up gradually, you'll notice that you won't then feel exhausted after you've done something, and then that up and down, you can build up your kind of tolerance, and kind of you'll find that you will kind of won't be as up and down, and you will improve your fatigue over time.
Great.
Pacing is it's important.
Thanks, Rosie. Mari, what about from a nutrition point of view? What do you think is most important?
Guess what I'm going to say? Eat a healthy, balanced, varied
diet.
Follow the Eco Guide. I'm like a broken record. No, but it is. And it's so important, to kind of, it's so important to eat well and eat a variety. And I think if, when you're fatigued, it's much better to be choosing those sort of low GI foods like oats and whole grains that will give you like a steady release of energy, rather than the chocolate bars, those things that we do want to kind of grab when we are sort of needing comfort, that just get you a spike. And also because you might be so tired that you don't really even want to be eating, so it's just even more important to be eating the good stuff rather than the bad stuff. So the good stuff that you can get the nutrients and vitamins and the fiber and iron as well. You might want to check your iron levels with your doctors. So choose the healthy options. Get your 5 a day. Nuts and seeds are great. You get a big gain for a small amount of food because they're full of fiber and good fats. So that's a good thing to eat. Think about your fluid intake as well. So something that can happen, if you're not eating very much, or you're not eating the right things, you might get constipated. So if you are eating your fiber and having your fluid, then that might help you, because constipation itself can make you feel kind of tired and sluggish and just rubbish anyway. And I think the important thing is that if you are experiencing any sort of unplanned, unwanted either weight gain or weight loss, it's very important that you flag it up with your doctor.
Absolutely.
Straight away, really, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just thinking there, where you're talking about another subject that you're expert in, which is like preparing food ahead of time and batch cooking, and which I guess if you're feeling, you know, if you are feeling a bit down or lacking in energy, having something that you can quickly whiz out and defrost or stick in the microwave, but is healthy. But I feel a whole different webinar coming on for that. Yeah.
That's what Rosie was saying. You know, if you've got bad days and good days, you know, use that good day to then maybe prepare something in advance. And also, if you're feeling really, really fatigued, you know, that's the time. You know, there are healthier ready-made food options as well. You know, make sure that you add vegetables to things as well, because that's the one way of making things healthier is to have something healthy. With the whatever. So, you know, don't beat yourself up. Have small meals. Once again, don't try to eat ginormous meals if you're not really feeling up to it. Just have small snacks and things. Have them available. Have them ready.
Great advice. Thank you very much. Lynn, have we answered your questions? Have you learned something new?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really interesting to hear your experience, and we're really happy that, you know, you've gained so much from taking part in the program, and happy to have you here. Just one final thing from us. One of the other lifestyle changes which really wanted to mention, and I know Lynn, we've just talked about this before, but quitting smoking is one of the best things that you can do for your health. Sorry guys that smoke, you probably, you know, but you need to hear this really, and especially at the moment with COVID-19 around, it really, giving up smoking will reduce your risk of from, you know, the damage of COVID-19 and many other diseases. So we're going to put some links in the comment section. If you are at that stage where you think, yeah, actually, I think this is the right time for me to quit, there's lots of free help out there for you. Please take advantage of it, and, you know, it'll be the best thing you've done. So thank you again. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, everybody out there for listening. And we'll say goodbye now and look forward to speaking to you again. Thanks. Bye.